Hi, I'm Bonnie Barker with BonnieBayCrochet.com, and today I wanted to show you part of a set. This is a cabled mitts and headband, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make the headband. For the mitts, please check on my homepage and you will find that video there as well. Okay, if you're a first-time visitor, if you could please hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up, that would be great. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any notifications. Well, let's go ahead and I'll show you what you're going to need. For this project, I'm going to be using 2 scans or hanks, and the yarn that I'm going to be using is by Elfin Tweed called Knit 1 Crochet 2. Each scan has approximately 208 yards or 191 meters. This is 60% merino wool, 20% baby llama, 10% bamboo, 10% Donegal, and it feels absolutely amazing. This is a fingering weight or a #1 super fine yarn. Okay, just to let you know, this is a set. It is a headband and a mitts set. 2 scans will make the entire set. However, if you're just making the mitts, you're still going to need 2, and if you're making the headband, you will only need 1. You are also going to need a G or a 6 or 4.00 millimeter crochet hook, and as always, I recommend that you keep a nice sharp pair of scissors and a yarn needle handy so that we can hide loose ends. Well, to begin, we start with our slip knot, and we chain 24. For row 1, we're going to work a double crochet in 1, 2, 3, the 4th chain from hook, and in each chain across. So go ahead and work double crochets all the way across. Now to begin row 2, just for the record, rows 2 and 3 are the rows that we're going to repeat for the duration of this headband. Okay, we're going to chain 2. We're going to skip the first stitch here, and we're going to front post double crochet. And if you've never worked a front post double crochet, you're simply working the hook around the stitch just like that, and then complete the double crochet. So do that over the next 4 stitches, 1 stitch in each. Let's try that again. So after working 4 front post double crochets, we're going to wrap our hook twice because we're getting ready for a front post treble. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches, and in the next stitch we're going to work a front post treble crochet. This is part of the 4 stitch or 4 post cable. We do that in the next stitch as well. So we've skipped 2 and we've worked front post treble crochets over the next 2 stitches. Now working in front of these last 2 stitches, we're going to work front post treble over this stitch and then over this stitch, essentially crossing the cables. Okay, just like that. And we're going to work this across the row, starting again back to the 4 front post double crochets, worked 1 over each of the next 4 stitches, and then now we work another 4 post cable. We wrap our hook for a treble, front post treble, skip the next 2 stitches, front post treble over the next 2 stitches, working in front of the last 2 stitches we just worked, front post treble in those 2 stitches that we skipped. You do need to be careful that when we're crossing the cables, we're using front post treble crochet, which is a taller stitch, but most of the other time we are working front or back post double crochets, which is this, shorter than the treble. The next 4 stitches, we just work front post double crochets over the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we work a half double crochet. We just wrap the hook, insert into that open space, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3 stitches, and that ends row number 2. For row 3, we chain 2 and turn. And again, we're skipping the first stitch, which is that half double crochet. And this is an easier row. We just work back post double crochets in each stitch across. Okay, we should have 22 stitches. I should have mentioned that earlier, but each row is going to have 22 stitches, and that is including the turning chain as a stitch, and that should be constant throughout this project. Okay, so go ahead and work all of those back post double crochets in each stitch. At the end of row 3, we work a half double crochet in that chain space, and let's go ahead and turn, and this is what you should have after completing 3 rows. Now for the next several rows, actually for rows 4 through 61, you are simply going to repeat rows 2 and 3. Row 2 is where we cross the cables, and row 3 is the row of back post double crochets. So repeat that 29 times, each rows 2 and 3, 29 times, or until the headband is the desired length. Okay, go ahead and work those rows, and then I'll show you how to connect both ends. This is what you should have after all of the repeats, and if you count where each of the crossing of the cables occurs, you should have approximately 30 of those. As shown, my piece measures approximately 18.5 inches long, and if you spread this out, it's approximately 4 inches wide. Okay, so now all we need to do is put the front sides facing together, and notice that my yarn is on the opposite side. And so now we are going to very carefully line both of these edges up. Go ahead and give it a chain 1. We will hide that strand later. And working through the foundation chain, that first stitch, and then line it up with the first stitch here. And we're going to slip, working through all those layers, slip stitch both ends together. Look into the next stitch. And do make sure that you take the time to line these up, because they should line up perfectly. Okay, so slip stitch in each stitch, working through both layers, both threads of both sides. So go ahead and work that all the way across the row, and then I will show you the fasten off. After working that all the way across, go ahead and work one in the chain at the beginning, right there on through both of them, and then give it a chain, give it a tug, and we're going to clip the strand right there. And let me give you a quick tutorial on how to hide the loose strand. This is where that yarn needle comes in very handy. Makes very quick work of this, and I always like to do this on the back side, and you can simply run it underneath a row of stitches just like this. Do take time to do this carefully, because you don't want these threads to show. There we go, and that should do it. I'm going to go ahead and pull that on through and do a little pull back on it. Very carefully, you want to trim the yarn near the stitch, but you want to make sure that you don't cut your crochet stitches. So let's go ahead. Okay, we have another strand to hide here, which I will hide in just a few minutes. But this is your headband, and let me show you. There's plenty of ease and stretch back with this. And I hope you enjoy this. If you want to block it, you can, but I honestly don't think it's going to be necessary, because as you wear this, this will naturally kind of fall into place. I hope you enjoyed making the cabled headband with me today. If you're looking for the mitts, please check my homepage. And while you're there, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any of the new videos coming your way. God bless. Bye-bye.